welcome back to another episode of the Scarlet and Cream Husker podcast. I am your host, Mr. B. Joining me today is our Swami recruiting guru, Mr. Matt Sass, and of course, former Husker wide receiver, Kenny Cheatham, Mr. KC. Guys, Michigan State, Sparty, coming up. Man, they're on a roll. Seriously, Michigan State's kind of a surprise right now, to be completely honest. Their ground game is killer. I believe they're averaging like 263 yards on the ground per game, not to mention about 256 in the air. I mean, you talk about balance. And their defense, dude, they're swarming around like our black shirts. Kenny, what do you think? What have you seen out of Michigan State so far? And going into East Lansing, man, they're going to be loud. It's a night game. They're going to be loud. They're itching. Is it that, or is it time for Huskers to build off last week and keep the momentum rolling and get the upset?
I think it's time for them to build off last week. Like it's this yesterday, shall I say. We played well. We shot ourselves in the foot several times during that game. But what I've noticed from Michigan State, and if you guys remember that after the first game, I said, hey, they're running the ball really well. They pounded the ball with that running back. I think he's number 8 or something, like kind of stout guy. He ran really well that first game, but I think they believe in being physical up front. With Tucker as the coach, I think he's brought an intensity for them on the defensive side of the ball. And I think he's putting that belief in them that they can win the game. I think it's going to be a dogfight. And we're going to have our hands full on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, that running back you're talking about, that's Walker the third. Guy's got 493 yards on the season already in just 3 games. And then, Matt, how do we slow this guy down?
Well, it's easy. Take the strength of our team. Just strength of our team right now is the defensive line. I mean, we are capable of stopping the run. I mean, this is going to be a big test, though. I mean, Michigan State, they right now, they look like the best running team in the Big Ten.
Yep. I agree. By a mile, I'd have to agree. And be honest, their passing game hasn't done that bad either. I mean, their quarterback, what was it, Thorne? I mean, the guy's got 726 yards on the season so far in just 3 games. I mean, that's not bad. It really isn't. And like I said, with how balanced that they are, Matt, what do we need to turn these guys just one-dimensional? Is this Shenander going to need to dial up some pressure to rattle this quarterback if we do?
Well, I think that's what we want to do. I take away the passing game, take away the lanes, everything. Make them only want to run the ball. I mean, that's what they want to do anyways.
Yep.
So let them do it. And then you're going right at strength against strength.
Who's got the bigger balls? Is that what it's going to come down to, Kenny?
Pretty much.
Yep.
Who's willing to do it? As we used to call it, who's got the Bobby Bounds? Who's going to go for it on 4th and whatever? So, yeah, I mean, that's what they need to do. Make them one-dimensional. I mean, but that's generally what you want to do with any team. Matt says make them run. Are we physical enough to handle that consistently over a game? You know what I mean? That's my only question with that, if we make them one-dimensional and put them in the running positions by getting the pressure on the quarterback. So, do we have enough players by attrition to come in and refresh those players that, you know, if we're getting worn down, we're running? Because I saw us looking a little winded the other day, that first couple of series with Oklahoma, with the fast-paced offense, with the quick hit, but they were passing, then a couple runs. So, but if we have the endurance to do it, yeah, let's make them one-dimensional, and then we can do something. Because our defense is the strength of the team this year. We all know that. We knew that coming in, and we can hold them. We'll be okay.
Now, do you think we really need to worry about their wide receivers as much? I mean, like I said, they are averaging a little over 250 yards a game through the air, but their leading receiver he's got 277 yards on the season through 3 games. That really means that the quarterback's spreading it around quite a bit. So is that going to cause any concern for our secondary, having to account for literally everybody and not being able to just focus on one guy to take away? What do you think, Matt?
I don't know. I think we had the secondary to do this.
Good.
And that's why I hope that's the game plan. Take away the passing game, make them want to run the ball, because our defensive line, that's where we have the most depth. but you're gonna have to rotate a lot, just like Kenny said. I mean, this is gonna be a ground and pound. I mean, old school power football game, in my opinion.
It's going to be Big Ten football.
I think we can stop their pass. I think we can completely shut them down. And I mean, I think they're going to be forced to just try to run the ball on us. I mean, I see this being a very low scoring game, to be honest.
That's right. I could see it maybe being somewhat like what it was when you came back for the Michigan State game in Lincoln, Kenny.
No, we don't want that. That was the lowest scoring game in the history of life. And
How's that game?
Oh man, that was horrible. That was horrible.
Kenny comes back from Arizona. It's snowing in Lincoln. Dude's freezing. Oh,
my first game in 20 years, and I come back to that. That was horrible. I was sick for like 4 months after that, man. That was terrible.
It was cold. I stayed the whole game though. I was not leaving.
Oh man.
Now, Kenny, I gotta ask you, Kenny, as far as our defense goes, your boy, Terrell Farley, he posted on Facebook that I saw he wasn't too thrilled with the play of our linebackers in that OU game. Is there anything you saw for cause of concern from our linebackers?
I haven't really seen a lot of highs and I haven't seen a lot of lows, if that makes sense for you.
Yeah.
They've been kind of consistent. I think when you're dealing with someone like Terrell, who, you know, is my buddy, you're looking at guys, I think a lot of times our era wants to equate how they were and how fast they were and how they played with today's era.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard being a player during that era to kind of pull that away from it. And I think what they're looking at is he's looking at more explosive plays from the linebackers in there on the quarterback's head, causing pressure. Maybe like I said, like we talked about last week, those guys could run. Yeah. They were fast. So they were on the quarterback's head instantly. So I think what he's looking at, maybe they're more out in coverage and not doing much damage with blitzing and things like that. But I mean, like I said, they've been consistent. You know, you can't say here and there. They've been here. Yeah. So, you know, what we expect is them to be in position to make plays, get some pressure, miss some tackles, make up for those tackles, get a good stop. So, I mean, you know, the backers have a different mentality. The defensive players have a different mentality than offensive players, man. Those dudes are all crazy. They're wired differently. Especially from linebackers, D-line, you know, defensive backs, yeah, they're prima donnas like receivers, so they're in their own zone. But those other dudes never try to figure out their thing, and they're wired differently, bro. They're different.
Yeah, and linebacker, I mean, that's what scares me the most because we are so razor thin. Yeah. I mean, we are one injury away at linebacker from being, I mean, it's night and day. So we need all three of our starting linebackers to stay in there.
Now, I was going to say, Matt, with Michigan State really establishing right now being a running team, and like we've discussed, it probably the best rushing attack in the conference, and say it's strength on strength, you know, defensive line. They've obviously have to go up against a great offensive line if they're trying to establish a run game, which they have through 3 games. Is this a case where you think we have cause for concern at linebacker if they get into that second level? Do our linebackers have what it takes to really come up and fill those gaps?
Oh, I think we do. I think our starting linebackers are solid. They're extremely solid. They're fast. They can cover everything. They're pretty gap sound. I mean, of course, they'll miss an assignment every once in a while, just trying to make plays and stuff like that. But just my biggest concern is one injury away, and
yeah.
It's night and day. Going to be way different.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. I mean, look, we have had pretty good success going into East Lansing, to be honest. We've had some amazing games there. We've had some, it seems like us in Michigan State seems like we're their bugaboo. You know, when they came here in 2015, it was Mike Riley's signature win on the controversial touchdown there at the end. Brandon Riley.
Oh, he was forced out.
No,
He was forced out.
look, I'm a homer as much as anybody, but on that replay, I think we may have got the benefit of the doubt.
Body and forced him out. I've watched that replay 100 times. I will never change my mind. You know me, Brian. I am one of the realest Husker fans there is. I call it how I see it. Yes, I'm a homer, but I mean, I will be brutally honest with you, and I've watched that play hundreds of times. That he was forced out.
All right, we'll take it. We'll take it. Look, a win is a win, so it doesn't really matter. So
count it up.
Yeah, exactly. So with Michigan's,
they still made the playoff.
Yeah, exactly. So they had nothing to bitch about, I suppose. All right, now on the offensive side of the ball, guys, we've talked about Martinez. He's played great the last 3 games. It's the Martinez we expected to see even last year. I mean, he's having a hell of a season. He's already over 1,000 yards on the season through the air. Amazing stat. He's got 290 on the ground. A lot of those have come from scrambles. Actually, probably 3/4 have come from scrambles. That's all right. Our leading receiver is, of course, Toure. He's a little over 330 yards on the season. Offensively, guys, looking at our leading rusher, it's Martinez. Our quarterback's our leading rusher. Granted, we've spread it around the running backs quite a bit. Irvin Jr. most likely not going to be in this week. So who's going to step up? Is it going to be Ramir? He had a hell of a showing against OU. What do you think, Matt?
I agree. I thought Ramir played really good. When the initial depth chart came out to start the season, they had him at 4th string.
Yeah.
I was kind of a little shocked. And I would really like to see him get some touches, especially in the passing game too. Let's use him. Other than that, I would like to see more out of Morrison.
Yeah.
I think he can be a legit bell cow for us. It's just, I know he's young. It's just a matter of maybe it's just more reps, more in-game action. But I think Morrison's a stud.
Yeah. Kenny, what do you think? I was going to ask you about Morrison. We only saw him for, what was it, 1 play against Oklahoma.
Maybe about 3 or 4 plays.
Yeah.
We may have seen him. So, I mean, I don't know because I'm not in the room to see what's going on, but it's every week it's a mystery on who's going to be the featured back. Was the other back 30? Was he hurt?
I didn't see him.
Yeah, Step hurt.
No,
I don't think so.
Just I read an article today that it's the running back room. It's such a tight race that whoever practices the best gets to start.
Oh my God.
Okay, but see,
that's how close it is.
But to see, but here's my issue with that. You have no consistency. That's going to affect once again how people who really are just looking at football, not paying attention to football as far as the little things, that affects how the linemen block as well. Yes. They know how certain runners like to run. They know how fast they hit the holes, the gaps, things that they can do for that runner to be successful. When you're constantly switching it up, okay, now we have Ramir, who ran exceptionally well.
Very well.
Who caught the ball and did exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is the guy they were talking about coming in from high school that ran this 21-something and 10-something. Okay, he's got a little wheels. But then you have the 2 power backs that one you barely played, one didn't play, and you played Irvin in front, who unfortunately, had the injury, sustained the injury. But who's your guy? So it's like musical chairs in the running back room, who's going to be up? Who is the guy? If you want to play Ramir, he can be your change of pace back. It's almost like I'll go back. I'm always going to go back sometimes to the Cowboys. You got Zeke, who's your main guy.
Yeah.
Then you have who's the change of pace back.
Yeah, Pollard.
Yeah, Pollard. So what are you going to do as far as that? So if Ramir played well and he runs well in practice this week, let him be the starter. Bring the other guys in. But when are you going to bring them in? Because this is going to be a dogfight. Let's just call it what it is. Let's not sit up here and make it seem like it's going to be, this is going to be hard. This is going to be some people sore in the cold tank after this game. Because Michigan State has always been physical.
Yes.
There's never been a time you say they weren't physical. Yeah, they've always been that. You know what I mean? Even back with Saban, they've always been physical. They just couldn't overcome the mental hurdles with some of the mistakes they were making as a football team and in their program. Michigan State is going to be ready. So it depends on how well we do. Our line needs to get more nastiness, get some more Cam in them up front, but do it cleanly. Let's not do the Oklahoma thing and choke people. Like they were doing to us.
Yeah, if they don't call it, forget
it. Be a little nasty. And then let's pound the ball against them as well.
That's right. I agree. And wide receiver part. I mean, look, I don't think we have much to worry about there, guys. I think we have all capable receivers in the game. Toure, obviously, is explosive. Out of Montana, I can't believe he was ever even contained playing in FCS. It's unbelievable to watch what he can do in a conference like the Big Ten. So with our receiving core, do we need to worry about there really being a breakout star? Or is this one of the things where we're blessed to have a core that Martinez can really spread it around and trust each one of them to catch it? What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, that's obviously the strength of our offense right now. I mean, spread it out, get the height in there. I mean, Michigan State, they haven't played a team with this big of wide receivers yet.
No.
They don't know what to do. And use our tight ends. Spread it around. Keep them guessing. Make their entire defense work from every angle of the field. You sideline to sideline, stretch the ball on first down plays. Take some shots. Just go.
And they finally did against OU. That shot down the field with Xavier Betts, a beautiful ball.
That was one of the throws, man. You see that. But Betts doesn't get enough credit either. That kid is a stud.
Man, ran right by that defender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Kenny,
he tipped that touchdown that got called back to the holding. But that tip, and then that's one of the best effort receiving plays I've seen in a while from a Nebraska wide receiver.
Yeah, maybe Jordan Westerkamp's behind the back catch. That's hard to ever top. That.
Or Hail Mary.
Now, his Hail Mary's pretty close, but man, catching one behind your back when not looking.
Effort. Fight for that ball every time now.
Kenny, you're a former wide receiver, man. This is your specialty position. What do you see out of this core? Are we stacked and we really don't know it?
I think we're not being one-dimensional anymore and just throwing to the one receiver. I think if those guys keep performing like they're performing, then it opens up the offense all the way. If you look at the first couple of games, the first one was Martin. He was highlighted. Toure wasn't as effective. But since then, it was Toure and then the tight ends, Allen, and the rest of the guys. But I think if you can get it to Betts and Manning continues to show up, because he's a big dude. That's a big dude, man. And I'm huge. And that's a big dude. So if they can that's what I'm saying. They can
smaller than Manning.
Wow, if they can be physical, they're big bodies, they're big targets. Betts showed me something with his speed. Manning showed me something on that first catch. Did you see how explosive he was when he took out of there across the middle?
Yep.
You said, okay, but if they can continue to do that and you use Toure as your main receiver as far as, the possession and all the other things, and you keep getting into the tight ends, I don't think that room has to be worried about. Yes, we missed number one. He was that jitterbug, that spark plug, can do the other little things to be that slot person. But I think what we have now is bigger guys, more effective guys, more prototypical NFL type guys, and from the receivers to the tight ends. But we can get them the ball, man. It's going to be a problem. But we all know, we've all seen it. What we need to establish is running.
Yeah. Our offensive line play has to do better. It's just this
penalties.
Austin better seriously be worried about losing his job at the end of the year, because our offensive line, we have big boys and they are just not performing at the level that we need them to be at.
Yeah, pipeline my ass. I'm sorry.
But I'm telling you right now, I read everything on Twitter and on Husker Online. I read a lot, and they want his head. Right now, our offensive line is the worst unit on our team in a conference where you need to have them be the best.
And not that also goes without saying, and is the only thing I'm going to say about it for this episode is our special team sucks ass.
Do we have a special teams coach?
Yeah, we do, but
we do, but I mean, it's not a full-time gig.
maybe it should be.
I mean, it's Dawson.
Oh, focus on it.
I don't want to get rid of Dawson. Look at our defensive line.
Yeah, D-line's good. D-line's good. Yeah, we just need a flat-out special teams coach. Let somebody work with them, strictly just them.
So he's doing the entire special teams
and D-line.
He's now Tuioti is our defensive line coach.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Dawson, I believe, is our defensive ends and outside linebackers and special teams coordinator.
Wow. Check this out. We had Coach Young, Coach Jennifer, Coach Solich, Coach Darlington. They all did the special teams.
Damn.
Yep.
So those kickers were Coach Young and Coach Jennifer.
Yeah, along with analysts.
Punt return, that was Coach Darlington. Kickoff return, that was Coach Solich. They all worked together. We didn't have just one guy doing all of the special. No, they all worked together. We were out there with all of them. So when we were back there returning together. Yeah, we were back there returning kickoffs. That was Coach Solich back there picking at us, making sure you're high and tight. Had the ball, hold the ball, Kenny. That would be us joking back there with him. You know what I mean? And joking with Coach Darlington, Coach Jennifer, and Coach Young. They were there. So I mean, if you're having one guy do it, that's a huge task. But
yeah, and I mean, I'm not there at practice. I mean, trust me, if I could be, I would be. But, I mean, and I don't see how they're running this, but I mean, yeah, it's definitely it's got to improve. I mean, with the way the rules are nowadays, man, it's really hard to just bring in a special teams coach.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Nebraska's made a lot of improvements, but I still think we need to make more improvements, even to the coaching staff after the year's over. So I would like to have a full-time wide receivers coach.
Well,
So I still think
with
our wide receivers can be even better.
I don't know. Our wide receivers, man, to me, they're coming around.
They are, but the size and speed that we have, especially with Oliver Martin, just everything, man. I still think I think we have 3 legit NFL players playing wide receiver for us right now.
Damn, we haven't had that ever.
Ever?
And looking at our offense, I mean,
long time, man.
we talked about what Michigan State can do on offense. Look, we're averaging just over 280 yards in the air a game and just over 200 on the ground per game. So, I mean, this is, like you said, Kenny, this is going to be knockdown, drag out, old school Big Ten fucking football. So, and guys, encouraging thing, before we close this out and get our predictions and then close out the episode, there's a couple things I saw after the OU game. They were quotes by Joel Klatt, who was one of the announcers during the game. He called the game on TV, and he was asked about how Nebraska is doing. And this is what he said. He said, "I think there's probably more to talk about on the side of Nebraska, and I just want to address the Nebraska fan base. I understand you're growing impatient. I understand it's been tough for you to watch this rebuild. I just encourage you by saying that Oklahoma team was really good. This came down genuinely to special teams. You lost the game because of 2 missed field goals and a blocked extra punt." He actually goes on to say this about the rest of the season, gentlemen, and this is encouraging as hell. Joel says, "I'm telling you, it's this close. It's a razor's edge. I believe still that Scott Frost and his group of players is going to have a big win coming down the stretch of this season." What do you think, guys? I mean, we earned some respect in that OU game, and Joel Klatt's out there posting this stuff. What do you think, Kenny? Did we earn that respect in the OU game?
I think so. I absolutely think so. But then something that will hurt that was how we shot ourselves in the foot.
Yep.
We've earned a lot of respect, but when we continuously shoot ourselves in the foot, how many games over the last couple of years could we have won if we hadn't shot ourselves in the foot?
And we can't even count them.
I mean, so yeah, I mean, that's encouraging. We know what we can do. We know what we're capable of doing, but we continue to shoot ourselves in the foot. And that's why the announcers say they keep doing the same thing. How many announcers have you heard watching the game said this continues to be their problem?
Yep.
They continuously shoot themselves in the foot. Mark, who is it? Mark May, I think, one of the guys out here on the Arizona news station, he said the same thing we've all heard. This is Nebraska, this and that, but this is what keeps them where they're at. They continue to make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
He said he literally said on TV, they should have, I forgot whichever the announcer was, he said they should have beat Oklahoma. He said, but they hurt themselves.
We did it. And I mean, look, Joel Clack gave us credit for the OU game, and we're going to see if we can carry this momentum over into East Lansing. And I hope to God we can. And if we can, I truly believe we come out of East Lansing with a win. I know I said it last week for OU, thinking that could be Frost's signature win, and he was this fucking close to getting it. This is going to be Frost's signature win for me. So here we go, guys. Matt, let's go with our predictions. What do you got for a score?
Well, first of all, people have to understand the history of Frost and Mel Tucker. They don't like each other.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not joking. I mean, Mel Tucker has been quoted calling Frost a scumbag. Like, Frost don't like this dude. He does not like this dude. I mean, you think his team's not going to be ready to play on Saturday? Yeah, I think we're taking this. And I'm not joking. Somewhere around like the 24-17 range, Nebraska.
24-17.
Yeah,
I like it.
Low scoring, man.
Big Ten
I don't think the secondary's that good. I think Frost, if he can scheme it up and get Torrey going early, and then just start moving the ball around, just distribute all around. Every wide receiver in this game should have 3 or 4 catches.
Wow. All right, Kenny, break it down for us, man. What do you got?
We can, if we stop their running or stop their passing and make them one-dimensional, I have it 20-17, Nebraska.
All right. Yes.
I like it.
Points are going to be hard to come by, but I have a 2017 to Nebraska.
I think points.
Frost is going to want to take this dude down for his first loss this season. I want to.
And I think you're right. Points will be hard to come by. I think it will be for maybe the first 3 quarters, but I want to say in the 4th quarter, we're going to separate ourselves. I'm going to go 27-17, Big Red. 10-point victory.
Okay. Like it. I hope it happens.
I hope so too.
Tucker.
I'm not a big fan of Sparty either.
They're a good team right now, though, and they do not beat themselves. They're disciplined.
That's very true. It's very true. Look, I've never been a big fan of Sparty. I don't know why. It's not like I got anything personal against them. I don't get it. They're just kind of like that thorn in your side that you just can't fucking reach and get out. And they probably think that about us sometimes too. So the feeling's probably fucking mutual.
They're the program who talk and walk like they're great, but they haven't done anything to be great.
They did get out from being the little brother of Michigan for a while.
Yeah.
So
true.
We'll see how that game turns out this year. That'll be interesting. So, all right, guys, we'll close it out here. We got our predictions. We've gone over, what we expect to hopefully see against Michigan State, our keys to victory we've given you. But what the hell do we know? I mean, me and Matt are just fans. Kenny probably give you a lot more than we could as far as a player's mentality because he's done it.
I don't know anything. I played the 5th.
All right, guys. So we'll close it out here. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a Husker victory, signature win over a ranked Sparty team, undefeated, in East Lansing, Saturday night game, 6 p.m. So for myself, Mr. B, guys, this has been fun. This is going to be a great game, I think. We're going to get it. Matt, where can we find you on social media, my friend?
9-point Husker fan or Herbie Husker 15 on Twitter.
I love that. Kenny, where we got you at?
Husker Noop on Twitter and Husker Noop on Instagram, which is HUSKERNUPE1911 or K Cheatham 6 on Twitter, and I'll pop up.
Yeah. Guys, you know where to find me at Knutson_Brian on Twitter or at the Scarlet Cream, of course. And then we have see the pages on Facebook. That's right. The Scarlet and the Cream Husker podcast page on Facebook. Check us out there. Of course, you'll find us on YouTube. You'll find the audios on Podbean. We're still working on Apple Podcasts. Don't know what the holdup is there, but pretty much anywhere else for podcasts, you find the audio. So we're going to close this out from myself, Mr. B, recruiting guru, Swami, Mr. Matt Sass, and of course, former Husker wide receiver, Mr. Kenny Cheatham, KC. So I'll close it out here. You can find us at the Scarlet Cream on Twitter. And as always, go Big Red.